Let me start with a thought experiment. Imagine you win the lottery tomorrow. Not a few $100s, not a few thousand. A real, life-changing amount of money. Your first reaction is probably, this is it, my life is finally about to get better. You could move. You could upgrade the car. You could stop putting up with a job you hate. All the things you never let yourself buy, now you don't have to think twice. And you'd assume that feeling, that happiness, would last for a very long time. But there's a study in psychology that's a little uncomfortable. In 1978, the psychologist Philip Brickman and his colleagues actually interviewed a group of lottery winners. They found 22 big winners and compared them with 22 ordinary people. The result was counterintuitive. The winners were not meaningfully happier than the regular folks. And here's the strange part. They actually got less joy from ordinary little things. Things like watching TV, eating breakfast, hearing a joke, getting a compliment. Those small pleasures next to a giant jackpot seem to get turned down in volume. This matters because it tells us money is useful, of course. But the new life money buys gets quietly recalibrated by your brain into normal. You think the jackpot will change your happiness forever. But your brain just says, okay, noted. From today, this is the new baseline. A pay raise works exactly the same way. You assume that after the raise, life moves into an easier version of itself. But a few months later, you open your bank account and it's just resting in a slightly different position, still lying in the same spot. You used to make $5,000 a month and couldn't save. Now you make $8,000 a month and you still can't save. So you start to doubt yourself. Maybe I'm just bad with money. Maybe I lose my head the moment I have some. Maybe I'm just the kind of person who's not built to get rich. But before you beat yourself up, hold on. This isn't really a willpower problem. It's more like a very quiet psychological machine. This machine has a name. It's called hedonic adaptation. Some people call it the hedonic treadmill. The idea is you get something better and your happiness goes up at first. But after a while, your brain adapts to it. And you slide back to roughly the same feeling as before. Except now your cost of living has gone up. It's like turning up the brightness on your phone. The instant you do it, you think, wow, that's bright. A minute later, you've forgotten all about it. But the faster battery drain, that part doesn't forget. Your standard of living is the same. Happiness adapts. The expenses stay. Later research on income and well-being added more nuance. In 2010, Daniel Kahneman and Angus Deaton analyzed over 450,000 survey responses from Americans. They found that the higher the income, the higher people rated their overall life. But day-to-day emotional well-being did not climb forever. In their data at the time, once household income passed roughly $75,000, the improvement in everyday mood got much smaller. Later studies revised that conclusion. In 2021, Matthew Killingsworth found that well-being can keep rising even at higher incomes. But the thing actually worth noticing isn't who won the academic debate. It's that both sides are reminding us of the same thing. Money helps, especially when it pulls you out of stress and buys you choices. But more income does not automatically turn into proportional happiness. And it definitely doesn't automatically turn into savings. In between, there's one critical thing: your standard of living. And that's the real concept for today. Lifestyle creep. It sounds serious, but when it actually happens, it doesn't feel serious at all. It's not the day you storm into a mall, max out your credit card, and buy a pile of ridiculous things. It's more like a vine. Slow, quiet, climbing up an inch at a time. You don't even notice it has already wrapped around your paycheck. Picture a very ordinary situation. You finally get a raise, $3,000 more a month. The moment the notice lands, you're clear-headed. You think, this time I'm really going to save. Then month one, you just upgrade your commute a little. You used to take the train, now you grab the occasional Uber. You think, work is exhausting, no need to make myself miserable. Month two, you start ordering nicer takeout. You used to check the price on a meal. Now an extra $10 or $15 feels like nothing. Month three, you sign up for 2 new subscriptions. One for streaming shows, one for audiobooks. You think, this isn't reckless spending, quality of life should go up a bit. After that, weekend dinners with friends, you don't really want the cheap little spot anymore. Clothes, coffee, phone accessories, rides, subscriptions, takeout, dinners out. Each one is small. Each one sounds reasonable. But once they line up, they happen to eat exactly the part of your paycheck that just went up. That's the most dangerous thing about lifestyle creep. It doesn't take you down with one big expense. It uses a pile of upgrades you think are fine to slowly push you back to where you started. You think a raise is an opportunity for your savings. But in reality, the moment your income rises, everything starts lining up for the elevator going up. Rent wants to go up. Takeout wants to go up. How often you take a ride wants to go up. Your shopping budget wants to go up. The tier of your dinners with friends wants to go up. Even the minimum standard you hold yourself to wants to go up. And in the end, only your savings are left standing on the ground floor, looking up as everyone rides up together. Then you realize the raise didn't make you lighter. It just upgraded your life system to a more expensive version. What's worse, people are extremely good at treating the upgraded life as the new normal. The first time you buy something a little pricier, it stings. The second time, you hesitate. The third time, it just feels normal. A $4 coffee used to feel too expensive. Then you buy it every day, and it becomes the basic setup of a workday. Taking a ride home used to feel like a reward. Then you do it whenever you're a little tired, and it feels like a reasonable arrangement. When a subscription used to expire, you'd wonder whether to renew. Now when it auto-charges, you don't even bother to look. This is hedonic adaptation living inside your daily life. The jackpot becomes the new baseline. The raise becomes the new baseline too. At first, it makes you excited. Later, it just makes you feel, well, this is how it was supposed to be. So the truly dangerous part isn't that you reward yourself once in a while. It's that your brain renames the reward into basic living. And once it becomes basic living, dialing it back down hurts. Say you're used to taking a ride 3 times a week. Ask you to go back to the train and you'll feel your quality of life dropped. You're used to the nicer takeout. Ask you to go back to the cheap meal and you'll feel like you're suffering. You're used to buying yourself a little something every month. Ask you to stop and you'll feel like life lost a bit of its spark. That's why saving after a raise is much harder than saving the moment the raise arrives. Because the first is taking back. The second is just allocating. The difference is enormous. Picture the moment you just got the raise notice. $3,000 more a month. Right now, that $3,000 hasn't turned into coffee, subscriptions, rides, and dinners yet. Your brain hasn't slapped the label "my normal life" on it yet. This is the best time to handle it. You can decide in advance. Of that $3,000, $1,500 moves out automatically. The other $1,500 you use to make life better. This way, you're not forbidding yourself from enjoying anything. You're just locking away the future's share first. Life can level up. It just can't swallow the entire raise. Here's a very simple rule. Every time your income rises, save half of the increase first. If you got a $2,000 raise, autosave 1,000. If you got a 5,000 raise, autosave 2,500. The number doesn't have to be exactly half. You could do a third. You could do 60%. The point isn't how perfect the ratio is. The point is the order. Decide how much the future gets first. Then decide how much the present gets. Flip the order, and the result is completely different. If you let daily life expand freely first, then check what's left at the end of the month. Most likely, nothing's left. Because life fills every empty seat. However much more you earn, it finds a way to take more. But if you pull a portion of the money out of the system first, life adapts inside whatever's left. At first, it feels a little off. But pretty soon, your brain treats the new spendable balance as normal too. This is actually using the same mechanism. Your lifestyle adapts to a more expensive version. It also adapts to a version you set boundaries on ahead of time. The key is, don't wait for it to grow on its own. You draw the boundary first. There's another method that works really well. Give your raise a waiting period. When your pay goes up, don't upgrade your life right away. Wait 3 months first. During those 3 months, the extra money moves out automatically. Once you've cooled down, then decide which upgrades are actually worth keeping. Because right when a raise happens, it's easy to get excited. You feel like, finally, it's my turn. I can finally be a little good to myself. That feeling is completely normal. But it's not a good time to make long-term decisions. 3 months later, look again. Some things you might still want. Like living closer to work, which really does make you less tired every day. That's fine. That's a conscious upgrade. But some things, you'll realize, were just the heat of the moment. Like a few extra subscriptions you barely used. Like a pile of small purchases where the joy only lasted until you opened the box. Those you can keep from turning into fixed expenses. What lifestyle creep fears most isn't that you enjoy yourself. It's that, before you see clearly, you sign a temporary pleasure into a long-term contract. There's one detail a lot of people miss. One-time spending and fixed spending are not equally dangerous. After a raise, an occasional nice meal is no big deal. But if it leads you into a more expensive place, a more expensive car, a stack of long-term subscriptions, then the baseline of your life gets raised. One-time spending is like rain. Fixed spending is like sea level rising. Rain stops. Once sea level rises, you live at a higher waterline every single day. So after a raise, the thing to watch most carefully isn't the occasional reward. It's the things that automatically charge you again and again. Rent, car payments, subscriptions, installments, insurance, long-term plans. Once these enter your life, they knock on your door on time every month. You can forget. The system doesn't forget. So let's look at the whole thing one more time. Your pay went up. Where did the money go? It didn't vanish into thin air. It became a more comfortable commute. It became nicer takeout. It became subscriptions you can't be bothered to cancel. It became smoother shopping. It became the life you feel you finally deserve. None of these things is necessarily wrong. What's wrong is that they all line up ahead of your savings. So what really decides whether a raise makes you richer isn't how big the raise was. It's the first few moves after the raise lands. Do you upgrade your life first? Or upgrade your savings first? Do you let the money into your daily balance first? Or make a portion of it disappear from your daily balance first? Do you wait to see what's left at month's end? Or, the moment the paycheck arrives, take the future's share off the top? A lot of people think financial freedom comes from one huge windfall. But more often, it comes from many income increases where you didn't let your standard of living eat all of it. A raise is absolutely worth celebrating. You can absolutely let life get better. But every time life wants to ride up the elevator with your paycheck, remember to save a seat for your savings too. Otherwise, years later, you'll find you kept getting promoted, kept getting raises, kept getting busier. But your bank account just went from one empty box to a more expensive empty box. So next time you get a raise, don't only ask yourself, what can I finally buy now? Also ask, how much of this raise should first become future freedom? Starting today, you don't have to stop life from getting better. You just have to stop life from quietly taking all of your better.